Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to be talking about a Twitter post on how Thomas and John ripped off the Safemoon army. What is so interesting about this post that kind of makes me want to cover it is that if you look through everybody who liked it, you'll find Jonas, Safemoon Jonas. It's him, and he obviously is no longer with Safemoon, but he liked this post basically saying that John and Thomas stole the liquidity. And he literally just was working with John for quite a while. I know the Safemoon maxis are immediately always just blame anybody but John, and it's just quite interesting to watch that. But for me, I think it's a big deal that Jonas liked this post describing how John and Thomas stole the liquidity. I feel like that's really damning for someone who seems like a pretty cool guy who was like right there with them, working with them for quite a while. Like they were texting. Jonas in the 32 podcast would say that, now that he's there, he can see what's going on behind the scenes, is literally what he said. And now he's not there and liking post about how John stole the liquidity. That's pretty damning. I don't know. What do you guys think? But we'll go ahead and run through this post, and I'll post the link down in the description so that if you want to read it yourself or ask any questions, you can do that as well. So this is from TNGsystems. It says the sequence of events that shows how John and Thomas ripped off the Safemoon army investors over the course of a year is clear as crystal, and I'm going to show you how the Safemoon CEO used your money to personally enrich himself. He said, first of all, they needed to lure investors into a false sense of security. This was done by promising the liquidity pool is locked, which made investors feel like the liquidity BNB and Safemoon couldn't be removed, leaving them rug pulled and unable to sell their tokens. And he has a couple posts that show that the locked $250 million of LP. For me personally, it was the old website that said the liquidity was locked. It didn't even say like a certain amount. It just, the old website said locked liquidity. It didn't say, oh, we locked a certain amount. It continues, it says, unfortunately for investors, Certic highlighted the Safemoon contract is broken. When investors trade Safemoon, it executes swap and liquefy, and this function returns new LP tokens to the owner address. So while John locked liquidity tokens away, new ones are replacing them. And yeah, you guys will remember that. As a result, over the time, the owner address will accumulate a significant portion of the LP tokens. If you pull up the audit for Safemoon, think of it as like having a vault full of your family members' cash, and you say, look, I'm sending the key to the vault to a bank, and they're putting it in a safety deposit box locked away for years. Your money is safe, but then secretly you obtain a new key to get the funds. Safemoon advertised the LP as safe and locked in April 2021. 2 weeks later, John and Thomas started to plunder the liquidity pool. In total, the deployer to wallet address took 150,000 BNB worth around 73 million and 12.9 trillion Safemoon worth 73 million from the LP, $147 million of your money. And he posted this. That's interesting. I actually haven't seen numbers that high. That sounds right, though. The majority of this BNB was used to purchase Safemoon off the open market, artificially pumping the price. This is from May 12, 2021, the day of the Safemoon all-time high. They took 56,940 BNB, $38 million, and 3.74 trillion Safemoon, $38 million, from the liquidity pool in two transactions. As it posted here. The BNB was then used to purchase 34.4 million worth of Safemoon on PancakeSwap at market price. Thus, Safemoon created the all-time high of 0.4011, equivalent to 0.011 in V2. These new tokens were sent to Bitmart on May 12th, where they were then sold for millions of dollars. John's Gabe and Double Wallet start receiving millions of dollars from Bitmart in June and July 2021. It comes flooding in, over 23 million in just 2 months. What to do with this newfound bounty? Yes, and we've looked at this before. The 3 million. I'm all on like June 13th of 2021. This is like early Safemoon. That John's getting millions before they had V2, before they had a swap. They just had no way to make money, but John's making millions, and we see it going from the liquidity pool to Bitmart. That's what CoffeeZilla and his team showed. Buys some property, of course. This is a text message exchange between Braden John Caroni and his uncle. The real estate agent asked Braden for proof of funds to buy a property. Braden responded with a screenshot of his wallet funds, the Gabe wallet, which we know for 100% fact is his wallet after all of everybody fighting tooth and nail, just unless God himself comes down and says that, yeah, the Gabe wallet's John's wallet, then we're just not going to believe it. His own brother recently confirmed it was his wallet as well. This is his uncle saying he had $9.3 million in his wallet in July, so this was proof of funds to buy the house. I told him to send directly to the agent, but I think he wanted to flex. So he showed John. John showed his uncle that, hey, I've got $9 million in this for proof of funds. That wallet is the Gabe wallet, and we can tell by looking at the balance of the ETH in the wallet at the time the screenshot was taken, 2.9 ETH. And wouldn't you look at that? Oh yeah, you can confirm it through the amount that is 100% that wallet. Finally, we have the bill of sale itself, redacted for privacy. Deal closed on the 31st July 2021, a day in John's text to his uncle, $2.25 million in cash. Sold date was 10th of September 2021. Here's a transaction of $2.5 million and $1 million leaving the Gabe wallet on September 9th, 2021. So, yep, 2.5, $1 million. On the same day that house was bought, which we obviously knew was his house. Here's some more resources on how you can follow the evidence that proves that Gabe wallet is John's and that they really did purchase a mansion. John promised LP was safe. 2 weeks later, extracted tens of millions, artificially pumped Safemoon, creating an all-time high on May 12th with stolen funds, sent to Bitmart for cash, cashed out tens of millions, used it as proof of funds, bought mansion. So here's the thing that I would say is that as I was studying Safemoon a while ago, because I've kind of really pulled back from Safemoon, I feel like it's all there unless something new comes out, which Jonas liking this post is pretty big to me. You know, maybe other people don't care. Jonas is on the 32 podcast. He was very intimate, work relationship with Hayden and John and that other guy whose name I can never remember. And I remember as I was studying this and as I was looking at Bitmart, because of what Coffeezel and his team brought out, because all of this was brought out by Coffee and his team, and now there's just a little bit of leaked stuff coming out from David and, John's brother, Charles, posted some things, confirming some things. But it basically leaves us with, is John the reason that the price tanked? On top of everything that's happened with Safemoon, is John also responsible for that? And I think this post by TNGsystems does a good job of taking all that information and putting it in a good order that demonstrates that John likely is the reason. I mean, they created that artificial pump, they'd send it to Bitmart, and then they'd sell off on Bitmart, and then his wallets would receive millions of dollars, which, by the way, all you had to do was make new wallets or something, and you could have hidden part of that. I mean, holy cow, how dumb you have to be to do something like that. Here's a transaction of 2.5 million and 1 million. So yeah, so the last thing I want to say is just, for one, it's just super damning that Jonas liked this post. I mean, the implications from that, if you sit here and you kind of think about that, is that either he found something out while he was there that confirmed that he was convinced that John did take that money and that he didn't want to be a part of that. Or, I guess I could throw out a hypothetical, which I just to be fair, to prove that I'm fair whenever I think about these things. What if Jonas got let go and then he was upset and then he just thought, oh, well, screw John, and I bet he did take that money. I don't think that's the case. I'm just throwing it out as trying to be real. I think more than likely Jonas was convinced from what his experience and what he saw that John did take that money. And by liking this post, that's kind of a big deal to like this post. I mean, that's kind of a big FU to Safemoon and to John, to be like, yeah, John took that money. I'm convinced he took the money as well. But the biggest problem that hasn't quite truly been expressed, that I've been concerned about this for a while whenever I was looking at the blockchain and studying this and stuff, is that, like I said, if John is responsible for the price being so down, if that wasn't just whale selling, if that was actually John selling it off on Bitmart And he could have other wallets. He could have done those wallets and also had other wallets as well. That's just always a problem with the blockchain, is there's always a potential for a wallet you don't know about. But if John is responsible for the major dip in Safemoon, on top of firing people, not delivering products, screwing up Operation Phoenix, then things start to look really bad. It really is one man screwed over millions of people in the worst way, and those people worshipped him for it. It's like worshiping Satan at this point, as he's dragging you to hell. So yeah, I just wanted to go over that real quick because I made a quick video talking about this, but I think that TNG did a good job of putting all this in order, and he's also kind of going in and looking at some of the blockchain stuff, which is helpful. So if you have any questions on that, definitely reach out to him on Twitter, and I'll have the post down below. Let me know what you guys think about Jonas liking this post, because I just feel like that's a big deal. And also let me know what you guys think about the implications of if John is actually in the team or potentially the ones responsible for why the price pumped so hard towards the all-time high. Maybe not the entire reason, but towards the all-time high with those artificial buys, and then selling off on Bitmart. Let me know what you think about that what if John was responsible for why the price is so far down? And you know, it's just amazing. It's like they to try to blame that on, like, oh, it was like, you know, the whales and it was this thing, and it's like, no, what if it was John? How does John have, you know, 60 to 100 something million dollars, and what would the implications of that be on the liquidity pool and the price? And you'd have to be an absolute idiot to say that it's zero or nothing or not that big of a deal or just a small impact. The implications would be huge, right? So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm working on some other channels right now, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I'll see you guys in the next video.